Was he a guy you would hang out with, like behind the scenes also, or did you?
No,
was he part of?
We rode together, man. I remember like one time, maybe we didn't hang out that much because me and him basically both of us seemed to be kind of like loners as far as if we're going to be traveling.
Yeah.
A lot of times by ourselves, keep doing our own thing. But yeah, he's a cool cat, and I have nothing but respect for him.
How about Jerry Lynn? He's this unheralded to a great degree, great worker of this generation. I mean, in ECW, he and Rob Van Dam had great matches. And you had a chance to work with him too. Different than Rob Van Dam, different than Undertaker, not flashy gimmick-wise, but as a good hand in the ring, people rave about him.
Yeah, he was really, and when it came to like, I would basically just like, tell me what to do, because he was gonna anyway. He was gonna do what, he wanted to do anyway, because he's great, and like I would just pretty much listen to what he had to say and like do whatever he told me to do, and like it was good. But he wasn't it didn't seem like he was as open to like things I would suggest as to where like RVD was like just totally cool with it.
Did you learn from Jerry another aspect? Did you become a better wrestler from working with Jerry Lynn?
I don't.
Or was your mind not really in a point where you were trying to even get better at that point?
A lot of times I get when somebody comes across to me as really like closed-minded and like, because he did a lot of times like he would come across like it was going to be his way or no way, like there was going to be no anything that I suggested like wasn't gonna. But I mean, he lays out things great, and he's an agent, at TNA.
Yeah.
He's awesome. I mean, I enjoyed working with him. It just didn't feel as friendly as far as like as the RVD matches did.
You had been out of wrestling for quite a while. I don't know, how many matches between working for WWE, your last match there, and your first match with TNA? How many matches did you work?
I think I did two. I think I did one little independent shot for a friend, and then I went out to California for that big time wrestling and did one match, I think two.
So how long of a stretch was that between?
Almost 2 years, I believe. It was close to 2 years, a year and a half.
And it was a big deal when TNA had signed you. I mean, they're a young upstart group. They're trying to get name people who fans are going to identify with and order pay-per-views based on them being on the show alone.
Yeah.
How did you get talked into coming in, and was it meant to be long-term or just one thing, one shot?
Man, well, it was kind of just when I did go in to wrestle, Jeff Jarrett. I don't think there was a week that went by that Matt didn't stop by my house and say, hey, man, did you think about calling Jeff this week? Trying to get me back throughout all that year. I was out there building my motocross track because it took a complete year to, like, complete it or whatever. But, man, like, yeah, it was just kind of getting a feel for it and seeing what it was like. Because I'll never forget when I said these words. When somebody asked me at some little independent show I went to with Matt and them just to check out up in Raleigh somewhere, I said, are you going to show up in TNA, man, or whatever? I said, yeah, about the day they build highways to other planets. And, man, he's like basically saying, you'll never see me in TNA. I was totally, like, I didn't think I didn't have any plans to ever even, I was all fired about trying to make it motocross, supercross, or whatever, doing music, whatever. But, like, I said that, but then I went and got a feel for it just because I finally had to say, man, I should start doing something. Like, I mean, I was just kind of ready to get back in the ring and just see if I could still do it or whatever. Yeah. And like Jeff, when I just called Jeff Jarrett and had a real good talk with him and went out there and got a feel for it, and they didn't pressure me at all. They just, with as far as the contract, you'll sign a contract. They just were real cool about it. And I wrestled AJ, and it turned out, decent. Being I hadn't been in the ring in so long.
Yeah.
And with AJ, so I mean, oh my God, when they first told me that I was going to wrestle him, I was like, are you serious? I mean, come on, man. Ain't no way I can live. I felt real intimidated. I just felt like I couldn't hang, or whatever. But it turned out fairly good, and then it was about a month went by, and I just had plenty of time to think about it, and they were super cool and very, very open and just like cool.
And you liked at the time it was a weekly schedule, and now they've gone to every 2 or 3 weeks for tapings,
yeah.
and once a month for pay-per-view. You like that schedule. I mean, you talked about that being ideal. You like wrestling enough to want to do it once every week or two.
Yeah, like once a week. I mean, that's perfect for me. And then once every other week is like beyond. It's just great. And that'll get. I think as it's going now, the way it's going now, like, I mean, man, it'll get to where, I could wrestle a few more times throughout, like maybe twice a week or something. I think if take it slow, like will get me back into it more than anything else. Like I felt I had a real good match with Abyss, and it felt, good and felt right. So it'll be slow, but yeah, it's just I don't want to be doing it nowhere near like the schedule I was on, like 5 days a week or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. And so far, in terms of TNA, has it felt invigorating to be back in the ring and doing something that you were so good at and that was such a high for you at some point? Is that? Yeah,
well, the one thing that like inspires me the most is like the ultimate goal, like as far as is to getting the possibility of getting a slot to go head to head with Raw one day.
Yeah.
Like, cause I mean, I think the talent is there. I mean, and like, just with me, what I did in WWE and the fan base that I have, and people still like. man, it's amazing people that haven't even heard of TNA still remember me from WWE. It is crazy how many people still notice. Just like coming out here, you know, God, it's amazing, man, how many people still remember that, and the Hardy Boys as far as, and it's been so long. But like the ultimate goal is like to get that slot on Monday night on some channel to go ahead and that would be really, if anything, I mean, that would get me fired up more than anything to actually go and to compete with. Because that's like the unheard of now. It's like something that's...
To be part of something that would be the grassroots competitor again.
Yeah, and having somewhat of a, you know, and gaining some new viewers and just, you know, being a part of that, man, which I don't want to come off like as far as sounding arrogant, but ever since I've started the TNA deal, it's felt like I see more and more people that were in WWE there, whether it be production people or... It's just strange, man, but it seems like it gets to be more and more.
Now, are you financially in a position where you saved your money well, you didn't overspend, and you don't have to work another day in your life?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like with my art, like selling paint, like the first 3 paintings I ever sold on eBay, man, they went for over $1,000, and they wouldn't have went for that much if I would have never been on TV. But I mean, there's so many things. If I hadn't saved money or invested money, like I mean, I would still be all right and be able to make money. But that's the whole reason. The mindset I was in when I got my small house, you know, and like spent whatever the total was. Like I knew that I wanted to have something that's paid for, and just in case something did happen to where I wasn't making all that big money again. But yeah, I've made it. I'm good to go for life, man.
I want to ask about the Lita situation and what just happened and get your opinion on it. We're going to talk to Matt at length about it. But what is your reaction to this? I mean, you were close to Edge too. Obviously, you're very close to Amy. When you found out about this, it didn't affect you as directly as Matt, but it had to be devastating for you to know this is going on with your brother, and it was a friend of yours, 2 friends of yours who were involved in this. What was your reaction, and how did you console Matt, and did you talk to Amy about it?
Matt came up to my house the day he first played the messages for me, and that blew me away. I mean, it blew me away. And like just hearing Edge say that, you know, then the biggest thing is being at his wedding. Like we were at his wedding, like, you know, however long ago it was, and seeing him look at his wife and say, "This is the very first time I've laid eyes on you. I knew that I loved you and want to spend the rest of my life with you." And then from my point of view that day, or what I was seeing is, well, Matt and Amy sitting right in front of me, and now I can't help but think what was going through her mind. I mean, when he was sitting here shooting all this bullshit at this woman, and like, I mean, it makes me fucking sick. Like, to know her, like, or at least think I knew her like I did or whatever. Like the day Matt came and played the messages, he had me call him. He wanted me to call him and just to let him know how disappointed I was. And calling Edge, I just got his voice message and left a message talking about how much I hated him, how much I thought he was fucking slime and stuff. And like, but then Amy,
you called Edge and left that message? Okay.
Yeah, because Matt was right there in front of me when he first told me, and then he wanted me to call Amy too, and I was like, oh man, because I didn't know what, because I thought there was a better chance she was going to pick up, you know, as far as me calling.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to say, because he was like a sister, you know, and such a weird, sex is such an emotional, like, part of being in love, and just when you, man, I mean, just knowing what it's like, it's when somebody cheats on somebody, how emotional that is, and then being so close to the edge, like, I can only imagine the hate that Matt, I mean, had in him, and it's really pathetic.
And did you end up talking to Lita about it?
Yeah, that day, and she was basically just getting to her mom's, and I said, hey, or she said, hey, and I said, what's going on? She said, I'm just getting back here to my mom's, and she sounded pretty normal, you know. I was like, well, I just wanted to let you know how fucked up I think it was, you know, or something like that. I said, I can't believe it's so fucked up. And she said, I know. And then I was like, I mean, I didn't really know what to say. Then it was fucked up, and I just can't believe you did this. And then she ended up saying, and there was some silence there, and she said, is that all you got to say? I'm pretty sure that's what she said. Is that all you got to say? And I was like, I just wanted to, like, man, I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Because was there remorse, or was she just kind of distant, or how? I mean,
she sounded kind of teary, like when she said, I know, but still, I could not. It didn't sound like she was completely like in tear or whatever. But which I don't know if she should have been. As far as I don't know. It's such a weird situation for me, like, because when I don't know the full deal behind I don't know how it was living together, what happened, you know, in the past, or how their relationship was exactly. I mean. Yeah. But as far as them, Matt getting, I'd said several times, I know the people, it wouldn't surprise me a bit if they did release Matt, and the way just because of Edge's popularity and the way, like,
He was in the midst of a big push, and
yeah, and just for that fact, and Matt being with the surgery, I mean, I don't know what the exact reason was, but I just think it's overall just it was just a slimy move. And then to see what happened on the Raw or whatever, like when they were in Raleigh, how many people like that is on the internet and does know about these people's personal lives,
yeah.
how much that showed through when they were chanting the shit they chanted in Raleigh. And I mean, like, man, I just think they would have had such a huge star with that. If Matt's return, you know, coming back off of that, what happened in his personal life.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a slimy situation.
Final question: do you have any aspirations unfulfilled for wrestling, other than, like you mentioned, being on TNA on Monday nights, perhaps?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any personal aspirations for wrestling left to fulfill? And I guess second part of the question is personal aspirations. In 20 years, where do you want to be? How do you want to, or in 20 or 30 years, how do you want to, where do you want to be at that point in your life, and what do you want to have accomplished at that point? You can, family, do you want to have kids? Do you want to have a different profession? Do you want to have been noticed for something other than wrestling, that type of thing? But first question, anything left in wrestling to fulfill?
And like in the the shoot-on interview I did for the Ring of Honor guy, like Ring of Horror guy, I mean, he'd asked me as far as where I'd be in 5 years, and I think I said that I was back in the WWE, like as far as the world champion or something like that, to where, and now I totally don't think that'll happen at all. And I don't even have any desire to. I think I'm already past the fact of wanting to be that as far as champion. I think I've done enough there. I don't really, you know, I would like to see us go head to head, you know, with Raw. Like that's the ultimate goal as far as that goes. But like overall, man, I'm happy. Like, and 20, 30 years from now, I definitely want to have a kid, like around that. I figured, you know, 30, 32 is a good age. I'm 27 now, so I definitely want to have a kid. And you know, it's just a creepy and kind of weird thing now, just the thought of it, because it's weird. Growing up seems real strange, and just the fact of looking at a little me, I mean, it's wild. You know, it's got to happen, and it will. And I just want to be just as happy as I am now. You know, come 30 years, as far as the wrestling goes, I'm totally satisfied with what I've done thus far. And you know, if it ended today, I would be totally fine. And
taking life one day at a time. You don't have like I need to accomplish this in art or music. It's just taking one day, 1 week, 1 month at a time, and see where I go.
Exactly. Well, in the music too, I feel that something will happen, but I'm not really pushing it. Like, I think if it's gonna happen, it'll happen some way. I'm just gonna continue to write songs to refresh me and like to make me feel, you know, all right, like with the act of making music, and just hope to be healthy, man. That's the main thing, and keep the sickness away, you know, from me and my lady.